Hi everybody, it's Joe and welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been here for the last couple of days. Yesterday I taught this really great negotiating class for a group of agents, and that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today, because we had a wonderful time dissecting characteristics of really good negotiators and talking about some of the common threads and themes that we're seeing right now. And so let's start with characteristics. The characteristics of the really great negotiators that our group came up, and there was about 50 of us, so it was a pretty good group. We came up with were things like knowledge, the ability to really grab a hold of the data before you start negotiating, because that will give you great power. That will give you great power in your negotiating. A good listener, that was something else that was really high on the list, that you just don't go in and go bah, 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 what I call show up and throw up, that you actually listen to what's going on. We talked about that emotional neutrality. We've talked about that a couple of times lately, about this idea that while all of this chaos is going on, you are the one who has to stay emotionally neutral. We talked about this idea of building relationships with the other agent, and that has been something that has been critical in this crazy market. I have seen so many offers lately that the seller has gotten a lot of offers, and they're so similar to one another, and at some point they're starting to make the decision on which agent do we want to work with, who do we think would be best to work with. So I've seen that happening. So building rapport, building trust with the other agent. We also saw things like the ability to persuade, the ability to take complicated processes and boil them down into something simple. And one of the real kind of connective threads that we saw through all of this, and that's one of the things I want to talk to you about, and that was this idea of structure. And y'all know I like myself some structure. I believe everything should be in steps, and you ought to have a process worked out. And that was one of the things that kept coming up, that in this crazy market, there's so much chaos going on. And because there's so much chaos, you really have to have a system in place for yourself of when you negotiate. A checklist of, okay, I've done that. Now I know I'm going to do that. This is how I'm going to present every time. These are the forms I'm going to use. This is how I'm going to keep my buyer or my seller good and calm. And as minute somebody gets confused about something, their brain starts making odd choices. So you have to have that structure and that consistency all the way through. That was another common thread. And then one more common thread that we heard was about this. And ironically, I was in D.C. over the weekend for the NAR, for an NAR conference, and there is something called the Danger Report. And the Danger Report is written by a guy who is considered a statistician, or a statistician of the real estate market. And he goes and he forecasts. His name is Stefan Swainpool, and he's South African, and he has been really kind of a leader in what's going on in the real estate market. And he has just released something called the Danger Report. What is of danger to real estate agents out there? And his number one thing out there was, in fact, the amount of real estate agents coming into the market who are not as trained or not as experienced. And that was something that I kept hearing from my group of agents, my very experienced group of agents yesterday, was that we keep getting people calling us or delivering offers or trying to get offers in, and they are doing illegal stuff. They have no clue, right? And it's really hard as an experienced agent, or maybe even a new agent, to go, okay, let's just break it down. If you're an experienced agent, you were there one time. So just take them by the hand and send them through. If you are a new agent, you need to get as much information and advice from other people before you go into your first negotiating event, so you can understand that there is a process that goes here, and that there are some certain standards that really apply here. And so those were those common threads that we saw in that. If you're wondering about the steps and you're wondering about the structure, we do have that webinar coming up next week, which is Discover the Battle-Tested 6 Steps that will absolutely work even in this crazy market. We've got that going on, and as soon as I get off, I'm going to post those links below. All right, those were the things I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell you my ahas from our big meeting about negotiating, and I will be bringing you more. I will be coming back for a broadcast on Tuesday, and I will be having our webinar on Tuesday as well. Again, I will be posting everything down here in just a minute. Have a good day.